Please welcome the president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Oklahoma City Mayor David Holt.
All right, good afternoon. It is my honor to kick off the 2026 Mayor's Climate Protection Awards, and we got a lot in this session. Climate protection is where we're going to start, but we have a blockbuster plenary today. This is the 20th anniversary of these awards. The 12 award-winning mayors being honored today are part of a special group. Like their predecessors, they are being honored for their leadership, innovation, and ambition. Today's awards are only possible through our partnership with Walmart. Joining us to honor our award winners is Walmart's Group Director of State and Local Government Relations. She's been our partner on these awards for all 20 years. We are grateful she's here with us to honor this group of mayors and our great partnership with Walmart. Please join me in welcoming Amy Hill.
Thank you, Mayor Holt, and thank you to the U.S. Conference of Mayors for your continued leadership and partnership. And of course, thank you, Tom Cochran, who's been a great mentor to so many of us and someone I am proud to call my friend. At Walmart, we're proud to serve communities in thousands of cities across America. That gives us a front row seat to the work mayors do every day, strengthening local economies, investing in infrastructure, and improving the quality of life for the people you serve. We're especially proud to sponsor these awards and have done so for the last 20 years. Over that time, we've had the privilege of recognizing mayors who are leading with innovation, delivering results, and helping their communities meet some of the most important challenges. From roundabouts and LED lighting to electrification of city vehicles and solar fields, we've recognized remarkable innovations by mayors over the years. And that's why today we are announcing an important evolution from the Climate Protection Awards to the Regenerative City Awards, which will recognize local leadership and lasting impact. This change reflects what we're hearing from mayors across the country. City leadership today is about more than any one issue. It's about delivering results, growing local economies, strengthening infrastructure, expanding opportunity, and building communities that are more resilient, more inclusive, and better positioned for the future. The challenges you all face are connected, and increasingly, the solutions are as well. Regenerative is about going a step further. It's not just about sustaining progress, it's about improving systems over time. It's about investments that create opportunity, strengthen resilience, and deliver shared value, generating lasting benefits both for communities and for business by supporting economic growth, environmental stewardship, and broader access to opportunity year after year. This vision is closely aligned with Walmart's own commitments. We too are working to become a regenerative company, helping to restore, renew, and sustain both people and the planet. Through our Project Gigaton, we continue to work with our suppliers on decarbonization initiatives that have already achieved the goal of helping avoid, reduce, or sequester 1 billion metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions across global value chains. Thank you. We're advancing towards powering our operations with 100% renewable energy by 2035, while continuing to improve efficiency across our facilities and logistics network. At the same time, we're focused on building a more resilient supply chain, supporting American jobs, reducing waste, and working to help protect and restore natural resources. And in the communities we serve, our cities, we're investing in opportunity through local hiring, workforce development, and support for small business. We know this kind of progress only happens through partnership, and that's where mayoral leadership is essential. Across the country, mayors are advancing practical, result-driven solutions, modernizing infrastructure, expanding energy innovation, strengthening transportation systems, and revitalizing communities. The Regenerative City Awards reflect that full scope of leadership. It does not move away from environmental leadership, but builds on it. The work being recognized through these awards continues to include energy innovation, resource efficiency, and sustainability. But it also recognizes the full scope of what it takes to help cities thrive. We at Walmart are proud of our 20-year partnership with the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and we're proud to stand alongside you as we continue this work together. To the mayors being recognized today, thank you for your leadership, your partnership, and for the results you deliver for our communities every day. Here's to 20 more years. Thank you.
Amy, thank you again, and thank you, Walmart, for this great partnership. Now it's time to present our 2026 Mayor's Climate Protection Awards. This one is for the small city category. I'd like to first recognize our honorable mention winners in the small city category. Our first honorable mention winner is Hallandale Beach Mayor Joy Cooper. Mayor, yes. Mayor Cooper is being honored today for The Cloud. The Cloud ecosystem brings together electric buses, electric microtransit services, and e-bikes, providing a seamless zero-emissions mobility network. The Cloud operates as a fare-free citywide transit system powered by electric buses, replacing the city's earlier gas-powered fleet. Congratulations, Mayor Cooper, on this award. Our next awardee is Issaquah Mayor Mark Mullet for his city's Resilience Hub network. Developed to address increasing climate impacts and other disruptions, the Resilience Hub network enhances the city's ability to prepare for, respond to, and recover from extreme events. The network includes 8 Resilience Hub locations, which operate as community assets year-round. During emergencies, the city activates these hubs to provide critical services, including safe gathering spaces, resource distribution, and essential information. Mayor, congratulations. Our next awardee is La Crosse Mayor Shondell Washington Spivey, who is being recognized today for his city's Accessory Dwelling Unit Ordinance, ADU ordinance. This ordinance seeks to expand housing opportunities on residential properties. To further compliance with this ordinance, the city held a design competition to promote ADU designs that were cost-effective, environmentally responsible, and energy efficient. And notably, ADUs also promote increased community density that aligns with walkability and more transportation options. Mayor, congratulations on this initiative and for your award today. Our next awardee is Pico Rivera Mayor Gustavo Camacho. Mayor Camacho is being honored for his city's Climate Action and Adaptation Plan. This is a comprehensive citywide approach to climate action, advancing various initiatives in renewable energy, electrification, waste reduction, and community resilience. The program's centralized management structure ensures plan strategies are translated into coordinated programs and measurable outcomes. Mayor, congratulations on this award. Our final honorable mention award in this category is Redmond Mayor Angela Burney, a multiple award winner. This year, Angela is being honored for advancing climate and housing goals through residential decarbonization. Recognizing new housing as one part of the housing solution, the city is focused on preserving and improving existing affordable housing. The city, with its partners, helped decarbonize 22 townhouses at no cost to its residents and retrofitted more than 173 homes with energy-efficient heat pumps, with 100 of those at no cost. Mayor, congratulations again for your continuing climate leadership. And now we will honor our first place winner in the small city category for her community-wide decarbonization program. This city program, anchored by the Alameda Municipal Power, the oldest municipal electric utility in California, provides 100% clean electricity. To tell us more about her program, please welcome Mayor Marilyn Ezzy Ashcraft.
Good afternoon, fellow mayors and honored guests. On behalf of the City of Alameda, I want to thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors for recognizing our community-wide equitable decarbonization program with this Climate Protection Award. Thank you also to Walmart for sponsoring the grant that accompanies this award, which I am honored to accept. As an island community for whom sea level rise is literally an existential threat, we feel an urgency to respond to the climate crisis. Our two-pronged approach is led by the city's Sustainability and Resilience Manager, Danielle Mealer, who has joined me here today, and focuses on both reducing our emissions and adapting to climate impacts on our shoreline. Alameda, as Mayor Holt noted, is proud to be home to the oldest municipally owned utility west of the Mississippi, Alameda Municipal Power, or AMP, established in 1887. Since 2020, AMP has delivered 100% clean energy, electricity, to all residential and business customers at rates 45% below our neighboring investor-owned utility. It's a collection of letters. Thank you, we're proud of that. Clean electricity and low rates have enabled the City of Alameda and AMP to invest in electrifying transportation and buildings, thereby lowering emissions while saving money and improving air quality. Key components of Alameda's decarbonization program include offering rebates for heat pumps, electric appliances, induction cooking, smart thermostats, used EVs, e-bikes, chargers, and more. Adopting building code amendments that encourage electrification during remodels and replacements, and reducing permit fees. Expanding our public EV charging infrastructure with a focus on residents who lack the opportunity to charge at home, like many of our renters. And creating an interdepartmental electrification working group so we're not siloed. And also conducting robust community outreach, including an annual home electrification fair. All of these initiatives are improving our environment while protecting Alameda residents and businesses from fossil fuel price volatility. And we've all seen that. In California, we listen to the news and we hear that nationwide gas prices are approaching $4. In California, with our extra fees, gas prices are approaching $7 a gallon. Anyway, in 2023, the Alameda City Council adopted an equitable building decarbonization plan, and in 2025, we updated our city's climate action and resiliency plan, reinforcing our commitment to reducing emissions 50% below 2005 levels by 2030 and achieving net zero emissions by 2045. To date, Alameda has reduced community-wide GHG emissions 29%, even as the island saw growth in residents and businesses. We are also clearly on track to achieve our goal of 50% reduction by 2030, and additionally, natural gas use has declined 12% since 2005, meeting our 2030 goal 5 years early. Transportation emissions are also decreasing as a result of EV adoption supported by rebates and charging expansion, and the city practices what we preach. We are converting the city's fleet and AMP's fleet to electric, including new police cruisers, pickup trucks, cargo vans, a police motorcycle, an electric forklift, and a utility bucket truck. Currently, 11% of registered vehicles in Alameda are EVs. And that's right now in 2026. The 2030 goal is to get to 12%. We will exceed the 2030 goal. So efficiency and electrification are lowering our overall energy use, and with 100% clean electricity, each electrification measure delivers immediate emissions reductions. We have more work to do, but we are proud of the work we have accomplished so far. Thank you again for this recognition. Thank you to all of you.
Now I'd like to recognize our honorable mention winners in the large city category. Our first large city honorable mention winner is Austin Mayor Kirk Watson, who is being honored today, yes, for the Austin Climate Implementation Plan. Austin's Climate Implementation Plan is a citywide 2-year action plan that builds off its 2021 Climate Equity Plan with 46 shovel-ready actions, complete with greenhouse gas reduction estimates. A key element of this effort is a public-facing dashboard to track progress, costs, and greenhouse gas impacts. Congratulations, Mayor Watson. Our next awardee is Boston Mayor Michelle Wu for her city's Building Emissions Reduction and Disclosure Ordinance. The Buildings Emissions Reduction and Disclosure Ordinance, or BERDO, is a local law that requires large building owners to report their building's annual energy and water consumption, comply with declining emission standards, and reach net zero emissions by 2050. Supporting improvements in these larger buildings is the city's Equitable Emissions Investment Fund. Congratulations to Mayor Wu on this initiative. Our next awardee is Fort Wayne Mayor Sharon Tucker. She is being honored today for her heat mapping and neighborhood intervention program. This 2-phase climate initiative combines citywide heat mapping and targeted neighborhood intervention. In partnership with several federal agencies, the city collected its first comprehensive heat and air quality data set, translating these findings into community-driven improvements. In the East Central neighborhood, this translated into the installation of 3 strategically located, shaded, art-integrated bus shelters. Mayor, congratulations on this award. Our next awardee is Miami Mayor Eileen Higgins. Mayor Higgins is being honored for her city's Building Efficiency 305 program. This program is specifically designed to improve energy efficiency and water conservation by benchmarking, tracking, and retuning in larger public and private buildings. It reduces costs for residents and businesses and helps address climate and affordability impacts in the process. Congratulations, Mayor Higgins. Our final honorable mention in the large city category is Rochester, Minnesota Mayor Kim Norton. She is being honored today for her city's thermal energy network. The city implemented the first active thermal energy network in the state of Minnesota, connecting 4 landmark civic facilities: the Rochester Public Library, the Mayo Civic Center, the Rochester Art Center, and the Rochester Civic Theater. The project created a shared thermal energy network that allows waste heat to be exchanged between facilities, dramatically improving overall system efficiency and replacing a failing district steam system. Congratulations, Mayor, on this initiative, and thank you for your leadership. I am pleased to announce our final winner, first place in the large city category. He is being honored today for his city's solar and battery storage portfolio. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Jerry Dyer of Fresno.
Thank you, David. It's an honor to accept this Climate Action Award on behalf of the city of Fresno. I want to thank the U.S. Conference of Mayors, our partners at Forefront Power, our Department of Public Utilities, and the many city employees, engineers, and local workers who help make these projects happen. In Fresno, we try to approach challenges with common sense and long-term thinking. And for us, this work came down to being responsible with taxpayer dollars while making investments that strengthen our city for the future. A few years ago, we were facing a serious issue. Energy costs were skyrocketing. Since 2020, electricity rates increased by more than 60%. For a city our size, that has a major impact, especially when you're operating facilities that run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We knew if we didn't act, those costs would eventually fall on taxpayers and ratepayers. That wasn't acceptable to us. So we made a decision to invest in infrastructure that would create long-term stability while also improving our environmental footprint. Today, Fresno has deployed more than 34 megawatts of solar and battery storage across city facilities. And to put that into perspective, that's enough to power 8,000 homes for a full year. The projects being recognized here are at our wastewater and surface water treatment facilities, some of the most energy-intensive operations we operate. At our Southwest Water Treatment Facility, we now have the largest commercial behind-the-meter solar plus battery storage system in the United States. Behind the meter basically means the city is producing and using its own power. We are so proud that these projects have brought national and even international attention to Fresno. At our Northeast Surface Water Treatment Facility, we're among the first cities in the country using advanced ground-mounted solar technology paired with robotic cleaning systems designed to improve efficiency and reduce long-term maintenance costs. Through strong public-private partnerships, innovative financing, and a lot of persistence, we were able to complete these projects with zero out-of-pocket cost to the city of Fresno or its residents. And that, as we know, matters. Because at the end of the day, our job is to deliver results in a way that is responsible to those we serve. And the results here are significant, especially considering in 2020, only 1.7% of the electricity used at city facilities came from renewable sources. This year, we will exceed 46%. This, combined with our energy efficiency projects, puts us on track to surpass our 50% renewable energy goal. These systems will reduce thousands of tons of carbon emissions every year. And by 2045, they are projected to save Fresno taxpayers more than $120 million. And as we know, that is a measurable savings making a real impact. This award is not just a recognition of what we've built, it is a recognition of who we are. Fresno is a city that believes in innovation, a city that believes in partnership, and a city that believes in building a healthier, more sustainable future for our residents. Thank you again for recognizing this work. It is an absolute honor to be this year's Large City First Place winner. And thank you, Walmart.
Congratulations again on your award, Mayor Dyer, and for your service to this organization. This concludes our 2026 Mayor's Climate Protection Awards program and our 20th anniversary awards ceremony. Please join me in recognizing today's award winners, as well as our previous winners, and in thanking our program sponsor, Walmart. Everybody, thanks to everybody. Now don't go anywhere. We still got movie stars and governors yet to come, so hang tight.
Legends Global CEO Dan Levy.
Good afternoon. Thank you to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Mayor Holt, and Mayor Richardson for hosting us. I'm Dan Levy, the CEO of Legends Global. We're proud to help host and support this event. Early this morning, I was with Mayor Richardson and the entire team from Long Beach and our team at the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the F&M Bank Amphitheater, which you'll all get to experience on Saturday night with an unbelievable concert. I'll be there as well. 2 years ago, when I first met Mayor Richardson, he shared his vision for building the amphitheater and extending this entertainment district as a way to create culture, bring people together, and create a new economic model for the city of Long Beach along the waterfront. I'm proud to get to see that come to life this weekend. For more than 30 years, the city of Long Beach and Legends Global have worked together to support and manage all of the venues that you're experiencing today. Whether it's the lunch and the hospitality you're having today, the aquarium that you're going to see later this week, the event management, the venue management, and the content booking of bringing things in, we've been proud partners of the City of Long Beach in developing great venues, great events, and unbelievable experiences for guests and economic benefit for the cities where we support and work with them. It's not just Long Beach. I got to see Mayor Lucas from Kansas City, Missouri this morning, where we got to meet a few months ago back at the T-Mobile Center, which we also proudly helped manage for the Big 12 basketball tournament, or Mayor Holt, who I got to see a few different times at the Paycom Center that we help manage for them. One of the questions I get a lot from civic leaders, from sports leaders, from university presidents is about what can we do with this boom in live entertainment to create a better guest experience for people that are coming to our cities and our venues, and to improve the monetization and economic engine around live. That's exactly what our company does, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can talk to the dozens of mayors here and municipalities that we help support and run buildings, events, and venues across the US and more than 400 around the world. If this is something of interest to you, we'd be happy to help. We're happy to help you learn more, starting with the most basic idea of taking a vision to a reality, or taking under-monetized assets that you may have to help see what you can experience. So if you're enjoying the hospitality, the food, the events that you're seeing today in partnership with the City of Long Beach and Legends Global, we'd love to talk to you more. We have plenty of people visiting and wandering this weekend, and we can start with the most basic level of just economic feasibility, because for more than 30 years we've been studying it already, and we've probably already done work in each of your cities and towns. We appreciate all the support for those of you who are partners of ours, and we look forward to working with many of you, more of you in the future. And I look forward to seeing you Saturday at the grand opening of the F&M Bank Amphitheater this weekend. Take care.
Please welcome Waymo's Director of U.S. State and Local Public Policy and Public Policy Campaigns, Annabelle Chang.
Hello, good afternoon. It is an absolute honor to be here. I'm an LA native, so I love that we're hosting it here in the city of Long Beach. Now, let me just ask by a quick show of hands, how many of you have seen a Waymo? Okay, now the next show of hands is how many of you have been in a Waymo? All right, okay. Well, I often get asked the question, why Waymo? And so actually I'm gonna pop up a slide here. Cue the slides. I know that many of you as leaders of your cities get that dreaded middle of the night phone call, and you learn about a horrible, awful collision, and you learn that maybe it was caused by texting, or maybe someone who was driving impaired. Well, Waymo is one of the things that we believe is going to help solve this crisis. So just think about it. It is such a common occurrence that someone loses their life on a public road globally every 26 seconds. That is an unacceptable truth, especially when technology is available to help solve this crisis. But it's not just roadway collisions and roadway violence. It is actually creating independence, transportation independence for folks who may be senior citizens, folks who have disabilities, even those who have neurodivergence issues that may want to have this transportation option. And let me show you in the next slide here. What's so incredible now is that in the year 2026, we now actually have the data to show how impactful this is. Over 170 million miles of driving, we now can show that we are driving at 92% better than a human driver. And that makes sense, the 92% reduction in serious injuries or collisions, and it makes sense for a couple of reasons. One, if you think about when you see the Waymo, you see the hardware on top, there's LiDAR, radar, cameras, microphones, etc. And if you compare that to yourself, you've only got 2 cameras, right? And hopefully you're a good driver, you look over your shoulder every time and you look at the side view mirrors. But sometimes you might be distracted by a cell phone. Well, that is the difference. This is what Waymo is doing and helping to bring that safety to our streets. And actually, I'm going to show you a really interesting slide next. Let's see this. Okay, so we're driving 1 million miles a week, 500,000 paid rides. And what we're finding is that we're encountering incredible long tail events, things that humans maybe encounter 2 or 3 times in their life. And from every single one of those events, we can actually learn and continue to grow. And the one that gives me the most heartburn is if you see there's a slide of an image of a person actually rolling out of a moving car. We actually see that. These are all situations that the Waymo has actually encountered. Let's go to the next slide. So 2026, I said, is a big year. We are now up and running an autonomous service in 11 cities around the country. We're testing in cities, maybe one of your cities in the United States and around the world. And we recognize how important it is to partner with our city stakeholders. So for all of you, please let us know if you want to chat. We're here. We want to help bring this education about what autonomous vehicle technology can promise can bring to your cities. And here's a fun thing. I know all of you often get complaints about the dreaded pothole. Yes, I said pothole. Next slide. This year, we've actually announced something really interesting. So what we have found is that our Waymo can actually detect potholes in real time. And you can actually sense from the vibration or the shift in the car that a pothole has developed, maybe even overnight. And we can get that information up to cities. And we're actually getting that information up to cities through the Waymo for Cities portal. And if we are driving autonomously in your city for at least 3 months, we can get that data to you. Your public works team can have access to it. And so these are kind of the interesting things that Waymo has the promise to bring. Not only is it safety, but sometimes it's even helping to fix the really mundane things like potholes. Thank you so much, and we hope to have Waymo come to your cities and help educate you about what the autonomous vehicle technology can bring. Thank you.
Thank you, Annabelle. No one is a greater advocate for youth engagement, community partnerships, and the power of sports to bring people together than our next speaker, a USCM past president, former mayor of Trenton, and Major League Baseball consultant. Through the Mayor's Play Ball initiative, cities across the country are creating opportunities for young people to get active, connect with their communities, and experience the joy of baseball and softball. By the way, they call it the Women's College World Series is happening right now in my city, Oklahoma City. We love softball. Today, Mayor Palmer is here to encourage mayors to celebrate National Play Ball Weekend in Long Beach and to step up to home plate and host mayoral events in your own city. Please welcome past President Doug Palmer.
Good afternoon, mayors and friends. And on behalf of Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred and Tony Riggins, welcome to National Play Ball Weekend. Yes, clap. One of the most exciting celebrations of youth baseball and softball happening across the country. This weekend is more than sports. It is about bringing young people together, creating community, encouraging healthy activity, and making memories that last a lifetime. All across America, major league and minor league clubs are opening their fields, welcoming families, and reminding us why baseball and softball remain such an important part of our communities and our nation's story. Now, we know many of you had packed the schedules this weekend and may not have been able to attend your local team's activations this year. But the good news is the play ball season is just getting started. We want every mayor in this room to know that there's still an opportunity to host your own mayor's play ball event in your city. Whether it's at a neighborhood field, park, recreation center, school, or stadium, these events are a wonderful way for mayors to connect directly with local youth and families. And we're here to make it happen. Please work with Jocelyn and Jared to begin planning your city's event. They can help coordinate ideas, resources, and opportunities to partner with local major league or minor league teams when schedules allow. Teams want to engage with communities, and these events create meaningful moments between players, cities, and young people. This year's theme, Batter Up, Mayor Up, is really about leadership. It's about mayors stepping up to encourage play, teamwork, mentorship, and opportunity for the next generation. And while you're here this weekend, we invite you to stop by the Play Ball booth. Take a photo in our special baseball card activation for social media and celebrate National Play Ball Weekend with your colleagues from cities across the country. Now, these moments may seem simple, but they matter. A child who picks up a bat, throws a softball, meets a local coach, or sees their mayor supporting youth sports may discover confidence, friendships, discipline, and joy that lasts far beyond the field. As we continue celebrating America and investing in our communities, programs like Play Ball remind us that some of the most powerful civic engagements happens on local fields and playgrounds where young people learn teamwork, resilience, and community pride. So let's make this Batter Up, Mayor Up season our biggest and best yet. Let's continue creating opportunities for young people to play, connect, and thrive in cities across America. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the Play Ball booth.
Please welcome to the stage Conference President David Holt, joined by the CEO and Executive Chair of More Perfect, John Bridgeland.
People, come on, pick it up. Let's keep that energy high. Come on out, John. Well, as mayors, we depend a great deal on a healthy and growing economy in our city. I mean, it's an obvious statement. Ample jobs, good paying jobs, growing companies, new businesses, et cetera. This is a big part of how we measure our city and our own job performance. I think, however, John, somewhat paradoxically, we don't directly control the economy for all the importance that we place on it as mayors. Our country is built on a capitalist free market system. So the question is, what can we do as mayors to encourage and facilitate the economic success we so desperately want for our city? Well, I'm joined today by John Bridgeland, who is leading a very interesting effort that I wanted to share with you today. It's called America the Entrepreneurial. They also have a booth in the, out in the atrium we're going to tell you about, but the next few minutes will give you the inspiration to go visit that booth. John Bridgeland, but his friends call him Bridge. Can I be your friend today?
Yeah,
Can
please.
I call you Bridge?
Many
All right.
years.
Was director of the Domestic Policy Council in the White House of President George W. Bush. Was also the first director of the USA Freedom Corps, and he served in President Obama's White House. This is real bipartisanship. We like that stuff around here. Now he's leading this entrepreneurship effort. Now, Bridge, you and your partners specifically chose the nation's 250th anniversary to highlight entrepreneurship. Why?
Well, let me just say first, I've had the privilege of watching Mayor Holt's public service career over many years, first in Congress, then the White House, now mayor of Oklahoma City and president of this august institution. And you run a heck of a program. You're moving
Yeah,
us
you
through.
better, man. Yeah, anybody wants to hear you the president, you better be prepared to be an MC.
The other thing I just want to say is I was a kid on Capitol Hill, and Tom Cochran came into our office, the executive director of your conference, and we were working together on the Unfunded Mandates Reform Act. And because of Tom, I got to meet Senator John Glenn and these extraordinary people in public life. And the bill actually got passed, and I think it helped mayors. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Tom Cochran for inspiring my public service career.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we were thinking about the 250th anniversary, in a few weeks, we'll have this celebration on July 4th of America's birth certificate. I guess also its divorce papers from England. And it is remarkable to think about that 250 years ago at the founding, with kings and queens in Europe, a shogun in Japan, a sultan in Constantinople, an emperor in China, and a czarina in Russia, that these men in Philadelphia turned the world upside down and created a system that invested power in people. And so entrepreneurs created and innovated and built this country. I just have to ask, how many entrepreneurs are in the audience today? Yeah, I've been meeting mayors this morning about this initiative, and they say, yeah, I started off first as an entrepreneur. So we wanted to create transformational change, as you know, takes at least a decade. We wanted to create a 10-year effort from the 250th of the Declaration to 10 years later, the 250th of the U.S. Constitution in 2037, to fuel a nation of entrepreneurs and kind of revitalize the American spirit.
Awesome. Well, so Bridge, what are common barriers that an entrepreneur might experience in a city that we as mayors could think about, should be thinking about trying to address?
First, interestingly, is courage and the willingness to take a risk. I was just talking to Mayor Gray, I think it was from Hampton, Virginia, who said they started a business incubator so that people wanted to start their own enterprise, had mentors and guidance to launch and structure and grow their businesses. He's joined the campaign, by the way, and doing so much. 62% of the American people want to start their own business enterprises, and yet less than 2% actually do, often because of needless barriers that you as mayors can help address. Things like red tape and bureaucracy, the significant costs of starting a business, licenses and permits, a multiplicity of agencies and divisions they have to deal with in order to make their idea translated into a business enterprise.
Yeah. So maybe continuing this theme a little bit, what are some concrete steps mayors can take to fuel entrepreneurship in our cities?
Fantastic. One thing is to make it a priority, to issue a proclamation, to send a signal to a community that you recognize that it's new businesses, not small or large businesses, that create most net new jobs in a community, which is really interesting. A lot of the economic advisors I've worked with didn't even know that fact, but it's really quite stunning. The second is you can do a time-limited review of the rules and regulations that inhibit the formation of new businesses. When I asked the former mayor of Indianapolis, who I served with in government, if he had ever done anything like this, he said, yeah, we identified 92 rules and regulations that needed to be modernized, eliminated, updated for the modern age. Third, you could look at the variety of ways in which entrepreneurs can have access to capital. Community development banks, SBA loans, microloans, a lot of them draw on their own assets and family assets for getting the businesses started. You can reduce the cost of business. Governor Jared Polis discovered the cost of business in Colorado was quite high, passes the Business Relief Act to reduce the cost down to just $1. And then new startups, went through the roof. So a lot of creative ways in which you can actually engage. Form a council of entrepreneurs that can give you in real time, how do we revitalize this city and this town together, and what are the innovative ways in which we can do that?
Yeah. So in my city, of course, I recently signed up as I think the founding mayor of your effort.
We were very grateful.
I'm going to ask you about that in a second, how others can join me, but we became Oklahoma City the Entrepreneurial through the issuance of a proclamation, which covers the kind of symbolic gesture you were talking about a minute ago, but I would also submit that we're doing something really exciting through our MAPS initiative. So MAPS is a sales tax we've been passing in Oklahoma City for 30 years. It's a 1-cent temporary sales tax with certain key projects listed in advance, and one of them is in MAPS 4. The fourth iteration of this is an entrepreneurship center. We literally call it that. It's the Henrietta B. Foster Center for Small Business, and it's in kind of the part of my city that's historically African American, and it's going to pull together sort of all of the different services that somebody with an idea might need who doesn't otherwise maybe have all the tools in terms of making a business plan and understanding regulations and taxation, but they've got a great idea for a small business. And we are going to open that here in the next couple of years. It's fully funded through our tax dollars, and we're really, really excited about it, and our career tech is actually going to operate it. So there are concrete things you can do, even in this sector of your city that seems like it's a little out of your control, and we've helped, obviously, to identify some of those. On the symbolic side, tell us explicitly, how can mayors sign up to join me as a founding mayor in America the Entrepreneurial?
And I want to thank Mayor Holt for that one-stop shop. It's sort of a model for what other mayors can do. So the team of Victor Huang, who's a great entrepreneur, and Kim Lane and Jason Grill are our colleagues in what's called America the Entrepreneurial. We've actually been talking to a lot of mayors this morning who've been coming up and telling us their extraordinary stories. The mayor from Paterson, New Jersey told me that, it was Alexander Hamilton that actually created the first planned industrial city in the United States. and just one after another, all these innovations. And so you can literally, there's a booth. Is there a QR code? Well, there's
Not at the moment. Maybe.
but there's a QR code
QR
you
code
can
if you
download.
can.
And what you'll get, people have been asked, is no fees, no obligation. But a lot of the mayors have actually been cutting videos with America the Entrepreneurial in the background. You get access to all sorts of tools and resources. We've written op-eds in Oklahoma City because Mayor Holt and Governor Stitt is leading a governor's compact on entrepreneurship for us in signing up all the governors across the United States. So there's a lot of momentum behind this initiative. And then you can do concrete things for which we'll provide tools, resources, and templates to get, take the side of entrepreneurs and these mom and pop shops. It lifts Americans out of poverty. It helps close the affordability gap. And Robert Putnam, who wrote Bowling Alone, will tell you it knits communities together, and God knows our country needs that.
Yeah. So the bottom line is go visit the booth. Everything he's talking about is offered for free. This is not a service he's trying to sell. They are helping you encourage entrepreneurship in your city. By the way, Bridge, you're like a civic entrepreneur because you wear a few hats. You're also part of an effort that has brought 44 presidential centers together. I'm talking about the Reagan Presidential Library and the Bush Presidential Library and the Clinton Presidential Library. It's very bipartisan. You've brought them together as an entity called More Perfect to work on democratic renewal.
Yeah.
In the 90 seconds we have left, talk about that real quick.
So just quickly, in the spirit of national unity, sort of a crazy idea, but we founded More Perfect, and it's first person I reached out to said collaborations are unnatural acts among non-consenting adults. And that was a very good start. But we have all 44 of the nation's presidential centers, from George Washington's Mount Vernon through the Obama Foundation. I just visited the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago, and I walked in with this older man, and he said, "My God, I thought this place was going to be about Obama. Turns out to be about me and about all of us as Americans and how we can affect change." We have Reagan, both Bushes, and all the former living presidents have done action prompting events for us. And the big idea is to move 5 sustainable democracy goals. I won't go through them. We have 8 initiatives where we're collaborating with the presidential centers on for the 250th. The most famous is In Pursuit. George Bush's message on George Washington was, for leaders, humility is the ultimate strength. Obama just wrote on Abraham Lincoln, surfacing up the lesson that it is only through our union that we can accomplish great things as a country. And 95% of our work is at the local and state levels. And I got to tell you, it's a gloomy time sometimes when you look at the trends. You mayors are effective, kind, problem solvers across difference, and we'd love to have you on America the Entrepreneurial, and we'd love to partner with you on this 10-year effort called More Perfect as well, if you're interested.
All right, well, I encourage everyone to visit the American Entrepreneurial booth in the atrium during our meeting. Sign up to be a founding city. Thank you, Bridge. Let's hear it for John Bridgeland.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Please welcome back Conference President and Oklahoma City Mayor David Holt and former Los Angeles Mayor and former Ambassador to India, Eric Garcetti.
Hey, man.
All right, what do you want me?
I'm not going to let you talk, but I want you to stand here and look pretty. For 20 years, the United States Conference of Mayors and Americans for the Arts have partnered to bestow the Citizen Artist Award on talented Americans who are not just among the greatest in their craft, but are also using their platforms to support their communities and our nation. Today's honoree absolutely embodies the award. Today's honoree is iconic actor Danny Trejo. I am joined today in this presentation by Danny's good friend and ours, former Mayor and Ambassador Eric Garcetti. And we're going to chat with Danny here in a minute. Danny Trejo has developed a prolific career in the entertainment industry with a hard-earned and atypical road to success. From years of imprisonment to helping troubled youth battle drug addictions, from acting and producing to restaurant ventures, his name, face, and achievements are well recognized in Hollywood and beyond. However, it is his continuous role as a devoted father of three and an intervention counselor that bring him the most satisfaction. Danny has starred in dozens of films, including Desperado, Heat, the From Dusk Till Dawn series, Con Air, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Spy Kids, Machete, and Machete Kills. On the television side, Danny had recurring roles on Sons of Anarchy, King of the Hill, Breaking Bad, and The Flash, among many others. It is said that Danny has appeared in over 400 films and TV shows.
Zootopia 2.
Zootopia 2. Danny's colorful life. Thank you for that contribution, Eric. Colorful life and prolific career are chronicled in the bio-documentary Inmate Number 1, released in 2020. He also released his fearlessly honest memoir, Trejo, My Life of Crime, Redemption, and Hollywood. Danny is also a serial entrepreneur, and his expanding, on point with our conversation we just had, his expanding restaurant empire includes Trejo's Tacos and Cantina and Trejo's Coffee and Donuts, now with the 5th location in downtown LA, and a new international spot in London, opened in 2024. His entrance to the literary world was sharing his love of food in the release of his first cookbook, Trejo's Tacos, Recipes and Stories from LA. His companion book, Trejo's Cantina, a book about cocktail snacks and amazing non-alcoholic drinks from the heart of Hollywood, was released in 2023. And let me tell you, virtually everyone I know in Los Angeles has an endearing story about Danny. There's hardly anyone more beloved on this planet than Danny. He is a most fitting honoree, and so on behalf of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, as well as on behalf of Aaron Harkey, CEO of Americans for the Arts, it is my honor to present the 2026 Citizen Artist Award to Danny Trejo.
Come on, brother. Come on.
Right here. Join us here. Here, let's take a picture. Come in here, Eric.
Can't put your hand on it, you know?
All right, let's get you right here in the center. All right, well, welcome, Danny. We are so thrilled to have you here.
For all of you that took pictures in the movies, I'm 6'5", okay? So say, oh, well, he was standing in a hole. Okay.
Danny, you've talked publicly about your past challenges with substance addiction and how it even led you to incarceration. But now you've been sober for much of your adult life. You've used the platform that your acting success has created to support other people and causes, especially in the addiction space. You've also done a lot of prison outreach. All of this, of course, is why you're so deserving of this Citizen Artist Award. Why is service to others so important to you?
Well, you know what? I think that's one of the ways that you atone for what you've done. You know, I think a lot of times when I go to school, kids that are on the path that I was on, they kind of listen. It's not like, you know, Tommy Winnemeadow. It's kind of the guy that's been in trouble. And so they kind of listen. And I honestly feel that that's one of the things that have my past has kind of given me an open door to the people that are on that path, you know, and it's worked out really well for me, because as long as I keep doing it, you know, he just keeps saying, all right, you're almost out of hell, keep it up.
I think your path to heaven is secure, but I'm not qualified necessarily to say that, but I think it is. We first met when you came to film a movie in Oklahoma City. At our first meeting over lunch, you agreed to come surprise everyone at our city's most prominent Latino festival, Fiestas de las Americas. That moment is still legendary in my city, and I think, yeah, there's a picture of it up there on the board. And it's one of my favorite days as mayor.
6'5", 6'5".
Your story and your career is especially iconic in our nation's Latino community, and that's why people went nuts when I announced you that day. My city's Latino community is fast growing, and now 1 out of every 5 residents of Oklahoma City is Latino. It's a community we value greatly. Danny, there are hundreds of mayors in this room. What would you want to tell the nation's mayors about the Latino communities in their city and what they can or should be doing to support those communities in their cities?
listen. You know, that's number one, listen. And if you're gonna work with, if you've got a lot of Latinos in your community, it's like, hire some, you know? And, and it's, you know, when I walk into a classroom, people that know me, I've watched teachers say, quiet, quiet, everybody be quiet, quiet, come on, quiet. And then I walk up, they want to hear what I got to say, you know, and it's like they've seen me. So if you've got some people that the people you're working with know, you know, you seem to have better results.
That's well said, and that's applicable, especially with the city government, and when you have employees like your public safety that are really engaged in certain communities to really have that authenticity. That's well said.
Yep.
Eric?
So I think you all can see why Danny Trejo is such a treasure, not just for the City of Angels. And as former mayor of City of Angels, you are going to heaven, don't worry. But also just why he's an icon and really helping us in some of our toughest moments. He makes children smile, because I know him from Spy Kids and Zootopia 2. And you can get the most hardcore gangbanger and they will sit down and listen because he has the credibility. And during COVID-19, during the pandemic, you were a part of our vaccination dream team at a moment when our community, and I gotta say, this is a very proud moment. In this city, thank you, Mayor Rex Richardson, we had a closing rally for an unexpected victory for a Latino who may be the first elected Latino governor of the state, our dear friend Javier Becerra, who just came in a position that puts him on track to be our first Latino governor. But you were always willing to partner and to bridge the politicians and the people. Why was it important to you to, you know, everybody else was just stuck at home doing nothing, but why was it so important for you to be that voice of encouraging people to get vaccinated, to get tested, to get healthy? And how does that fit into what you do every single day with people trying to get sober?
You know, I think that one of the ways that I atone for, you know, being incorrigible is helping others, you know, helping others to stay out of jail, helping others that get out of jail, you know, helping others with drug addiction. And it's what we do every day. You know, it's not like just, I don't know, mailing in something. It's just, this is what we do. I work for a agency called Western Pacific MedCorp. We detox heroin addicts and I still, you know, it's what I do. So what the film industry does for me, it gives me a podium. I don't know, because people recognize me and they want to hear what I got to say. Even the kids, especially the kids that are in trouble, you know. So I think being of service is part of what he wants us to do, you know, period. You know, that's all, just being of service to our fellow man. That's what, right now we've got a room full of people that are of service to their fellow man. That's why it's just so cool here.
Well, and this room, Danny, saved tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands of lives in the pandemic. You've saved thousands of lives, I know directly, maybe tens of thousands. And it would have been enough if you were a great artist. It would have been enough if you had turned your life around, which you did. It would have been enough if you were giving back, as you do with helping people with sobriety. But then you decided to become a businessman. What were you thinking when you, for the first time, said, hey, I love food, you know, you cook in the backyard, you do all this stuff, I've seen you in action, but you decided to open First Tacos place. It's my daughter's favorite taco place in Los Angeles. You went to go to donuts, to coffee, you have a cantina. Tell these folks from a businessman's perspective, what should the mayors of America do to encourage more people who have ideas like that to become entrepreneurs and have communities do better?
I have a confession that everything good that has happened to me has happened as a direct result of helping someone else. I did a low-budget movie, a favor for a director. You know, and it's funny, I didn't, at first I'm waiting for a big score, and my agent, Gloria Hinojosa, she said, this might be a winner. So I think for the first time I listened to somebody. And So we took this movie called Badass, right? Low budget.
Anybody seen Badass here? All right, see? That was the hardcore Trejo fans. You and you.
They'll
Okay,
give
go on.
you a sandwich, right, on a low budget movie. But so I did this low budget movie. It turned into a trilogy. I made 5 times the money that I would at any other movie. But I met this producer named Ash Shaw, who had been in the restaurant business. And I eat good food. You're 70 years old. That was 10 years ago. You don't want to eat too much processed food. So I would bring a lunch once in a while, and he asked me, what do you eat? I said, well, I just eat good food. And he says, why did you open a restaurant? Joking, I said, Trejo's Tacos. And then we did Badass, Badasses, Badass on the Bayou. And
okay, who saw Badass on the Bayou? Okay, that's your homework tonight.
And he brought me a business plan. I opened it, no murder, no mayhem, no robberies. I gave it to my agent, and she kind of said it's a no-brainer. They're not asking. Everybody that wants me that has a good deal costs me about, it's only going to cost you $12,000. And they didn't want money. They wanted my picture. Cool. So right now we've got 5 restaurants. We've got 2 in London. That's 7. And we're getting ready to try to open up 1 in Oklahoma on the Oklahoma-Texas border.
He's not kidding, actually.
Who wants a Trejo's Taco here? Anybody? All right, so those are all mayors that your team needs to go talk to. And you can expand to another 20 cities today.
Awesome.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Well, I'm going to wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Okay, well, I just want to thank Mayor Garcetti, Ambassador Garcetti, for helping bring Danny here today, and thanks for joining us. And most of all, Danny, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for your career, your business success. Let's hear it for Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
Forget, he's really 6'5".
Please welcome Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
U.S. Conference of Mayors, it feels good to be back, and I gotta say, I'm feeling a whole lot better than when I saw you the last time. And I'd even have a bigger smile if I wasn't following Eric Garcetti, and the person I know is Johnny 23 if you saw Con Air. In Con Air, Danny Trejo said, "A man has the right to know what he's being locked up for." Which brings me to my next topic, Operation Metro Surge. You all saw it on TV, and I'll tell you, in Minneapolis, it was far worse than anything that you saw on the news. 3,000 to 4,000 ICE agents and Border Patrol literally marching down the street, discriminating only on the basis of race. Do you look Latino, Somali, or Southeast Asian, and indiscriminate pickups thereafter, including of American citizens. And through it all, tens of thousands of Minneapolis residents stood up. They peacefully protested. They delivered food for those that were terrified to go outside. They stood watch over daycare. And then we had people throughout the country, including so many extraordinary mayors in this room, that stood up for them and stood up for us. And so I wanted to come here first and foremost just to say thank you. Thanks for standing up in your own, yes. Thank you for standing up and speaking out in your own local press, saying that you will not tolerate this kind of federal overreach in any city. Thanks for backing up the city of Minneapolis, both in words and also in court. Thanks for remaining vigilant in your own cities. And thanks for letting the federal government also know that we would not tolerate that kind of terrorization in any community. But perhaps the best way that I can say thank you is also to share some of the lessons that we learned. The impact of Operation Metro Surge was no small ordeal. In January of 2026 alone, we're talking about $203 million of damage. $81 million of lost wages, countless damage in terms of mental health. Kids were out of school, damage to local businesses at a range of approximately $20 million every single week, and that number just got exponentially bigger and bigger to the extent where whole corridors of our city shut down. The damage was real. Our city stood up. We provided millions of dollars in the form of rental assistance and emergency relief. We provided $7 million to small and local businesses that had been struggling through that period. The state of Minnesota stood up with approximately $40 million for that emergency rental assistance. And still, the damage has been very real. And so to tell you about some of the lessons that have been learned and some things that also we did well, I felt was of critical importance. The first and probably the most boring, but it's really important, is emergency management. You all can practice as mayors ahead of time how you communicate with each other. You can practice abiding by the NIMS, National Incident Management System. You can run simulations and practices. You can even potentially go out to Emmitsburg, Maryland, and get a whole simulation through FEMA. This practice set us up so that no matter what emergency took place, at the very least, we would be prepared to do our best. Could you get overwhelmed? Of course you can. But at the same time, we knew that we were going to be able to do our jobs well. The second big issue is clear communication. Tell your constituents, tell your people what you are able to do and what you're not able to do early on. In Minneapolis, we've got a separation ordinance, and what that says is that our police, our public officials, won't ask the question as to whether an individual is documented or not. It says that we won't cooperate with federal agencies around immigration enforcement work. We do cooperate extensively around public safety, on preventing murder and carjackings from occurring, on busting a narcotics trade, but we do not focus on immigration. Why? It's pretty simple, and a lot of it is about safety. I don't want the limited numbers of police officers that we have to spend a single second hunting a father down who just dropped his kids off at daycare, is about to go work a 12-hour shift, who happens to be from Ecuador. I want those cops preventing homicides from taking place. I want those police officers investigating violent crime and keeping our streets safe. This is not a wild, radical idea. This is an idea just to make sure that people in our city stay safe. The final thing I'll mention is getting the necessary communication going with immigrant communities right from the get-go. We had task forces that were set up so that we could disseminate information to organizations throughout our city, and we could get information in, learning from them, and then able to act on the spot to find ways, again, to keep people safe during some of the most trying of circumstances. And so what was 3,000 to 4,000 ICE agents versus about 600 police officers in total has now been drastically reduced so that we're somewhere in the range of what we had of ICE agents for the previous couple of decades. But those combined efforts across the country, they proved something once again. And I remember coming to talk to you guys, and we were really in the meat of it at the time. And I thought, I did question at first, should I go out and talk to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, given everything that the city was experiencing? But I also recognized the importance of galvanizing municipal and nationwide leaders across the country, because I knew how much power that you all had in shaping policy and changing the direction of our country. People often ask mayors, and I'm sure you've often got the question, so when are you running for Senate? Or when are you running for governor? Well, I think people should be asking governors and United States senators, when are you running for mayor? So if there's any place to take the inspiration from, again, take it from the 435,000 people, and I'm biased on this, that call Minneapolis home, and the many more that come and go. Take it from the incredible mayors throughout the country that have stood up during some of the most difficult of circumstances and had the guts to lead, the guts to tell their own side what they don't want to hear, and the guts to do the right thing, not just for an ideology, but for the endurance of our republic and the maintenance of a great democracy. That's what you all have done each and every day, because God knows you're going to get hit from every single side no matter what you do. But what do? The right thing. And so I'm going to close where I opened, which is a quote from the great Danny Trejo here. And Danny Trejo, if you saw Predators, which is back in 2010, Danny Trejo said, and this is a quote from him, not me, "Bitch, does this look like a teamwork-oriented group of individuals to you?" Well, in this room, looking at all of these mainstays of democracy, the answer, if you're talking about the U.S. Conference of Mayors, the answer is most definitely yes, it does. Thank you so much, everybody.
Please welcome Long Beach Mayor Rex Richardson.
All right, are you having a good time? Are we off to a great start, mayors? Mayor Frey just killed, am I right? And who would have thought that Danny Trejo would grace the stage at the U.S. Conference of Mayors, got a chance to meet him, and he says, "Mayor, I got my first tattoo across the street at the Pike when I was 15 years old." I mean, come on, that's pretty cool. Well, we have a special treat for you. As mayors, we all understand that delivering for our residents requires partnership at every level of government. And here in California, we've been fortunate to have a governor who understands cities, respects local leadership, and works with mayors to meet the moment. After all, our governor is one of us. Before serving as governor and lieutenant governor, he served as the mayor of San Francisco, one of the most iconic, diverse, and culturally vibrant cities in America. So he knows what it means to lead from City Hall. He knows the urgency mayors feel every day. And he knows that when cities succeed, our states and our country succeeds. Right here in Long Beach, he's partnered with us to invest in port infrastructure, confront homelessness, and strengthen our local economy. And across California, his leadership has helped to expand access to life-saving health care, advance climate action, improve public safety, and position our state as the 4th largest economy in the entire world. So discuss all of this and more. I'm pleased to welcome back to the U.S. Conference of Mayors stage, California's own Governor, Gavin Newsom. Joined by President Holt and First Vice President Gloria.
Hey, everybody.
I'm on this end. Todd's in the middle.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Wow. I haven't been here in a long time. I'm an old man now.
No, hardly.
Old man. Good to be back, everybody.
We are very pleased to have you. I recently saw you did an interview with our friend Jonathan Martin, and you said, "Once a mayor, always a mayor."
That's it.
I get it. I think that should be your slogan.
It is. There is truth to that. I mean, the hard-headed pragmatism that defines the work that so many of you do in this room, and it carries with you. And I'll tell you, there's no greater training, certainly, to be governor. But I will say this, just as a point of consideration and reference, and it's maybe a point of observation for all of you, but it's been a point of experience for me. I think something radically changed for governors through and after COVID. That there was an expectation that they operate less as governors and more, dare I say, as mayors. There was an expectation set where you were more accountable at the local level across a myriad of issues, when in the past it was a relatively few issues where you're held to a higher level of accountability. But after COVID, that mayoral mindset, I thought, never went away, and the expectation game has radically shifted as well. Even in a state as large as California, the state that's larger than 21 state populations combined. I walk into any of the cities here, and there's an extra, well, hey, Newsom, why haven't you fixed the pothole? Or what the hell are you doing on the crosswalk? I mean, there really is. Every homeless encampment is now the governor's homeless encampment. When in the past, as a mayor, I was like, no, that's my job. That's not Schwarzenegger's job. Wasn't the job of a governor. It's shifted radically, I think. And so forgive me the long-winded, you triggered me just on this mayoral front. But I do think for any of you aspiring governors out there, I think having that mayoral mindset will serve you well, because I think the expectation of the public demands that.
Yeah. So, Governor, I'm about to do what you've been waiting in Oklahoma for an Oklahoman to do for years. I'm going to push back on California derangement syndrome, all right?
Wow.
I want to note that Bloomberg recently highlighted how your state has become the 4th largest economy in the world.
Yep.
Your state's GDP grew not just more than every other state, but more than every developed country since you took office. At a time when cities and states are facing significant economic uncertainty, what do you think California is doing right, and what lessons could you maybe impart to us as mayors about growing our economies?
Unbelievable. I'm glad they submitted my question.
It was all anonymous.
No, this is great. No, this is amazing. I got one of those calls here that you dread from the editor of Bloomberg. Said, we really want to talk to you, give you a little heads up. We've been working on a piece for the last few months on really analyzing the state of California from a GDP perspective, looking at a myriad of issues, as Bloomberg tends to do. Just the facts. And I said, well, that's fine, I'm happy to do it. And they said, oh, since you've been governor. I'm like, oh, God, here we go. And I'll never forget sitting there going, I thought it was kind of made up. I had to stress test their facts. And it's a nice thing to see, and it just turned out to be the case. You talk about this California derangement syndrome, and I think that's real. Turn on Fox, turn on Newsmax, turn on One American News. Listen to these podcasters and podcasts. This sort of obsession, tearing down California, focusing on what's wrong with the state, not what's right with the state. But remarkably, if you look back in the last number of years, we have no peers. And I don't say that arrogantly. I say that truthfully. California dominates, not only compared to the other 49 states in terms of our GDP growth, outperforming the nation, which grew at 15.1% since 2019, California at 40%, but every developed nation in the world. We have no peers. Dominate in manufacturing. Dominate in every critical category. People don't think about California, Mayor Dyer does, as a farming state, a hunting state, a foresty state. We dominate in all of those categories. We have more scientists, engineers, more Nobel laureates than any other state in the nation. 62%, this was just validated yesterday, 62% of all venture capital is invested back in to the state of California. $106 billion, record amount of venture capital last year. Obviously, when it comes to issues like fusion and issues around space that Rex can talk about better or more than anyone else, quantum, California dominates. 33 of the top 50 AI companies here in the state of California. And I would just offer, in the context of your question and frame, it wasn't by chance. It's by design. There's been a formula for success in the state that predates, goes back decades and decades in this state. And there's a value proposition. And that's something I think is important to bring to the table. 27% of this state's foreign-born. You look at the number of unicorn companies worth over $1 billion. There was a new report just came out today on this. 56% of them are in California. Of unicorn companies Why do I connect that dot? 27% foreign-born and unicorn companies? Because the overwhelming majority of them have a CEO or co-founder or a founder that was foreign-born. It's part of that formula for success by design, not by chance. The ability to get the first-round draft choices from around the rest of the world, the best and the brightest. A majority-minority state that practices pluralism, doesn't tolerate diversity, celebrates diversity, part of the economic story in our state. We also are the conveyor belt for talent. And there's remarkable universities in your state, all across the United States, but we're blessed here. Caltech, Stanford, obviously the UC system. Talk about a conveyor belt for talent. Those Nobel laureates that were conveyed just last year, 4 of them, record-breaking in California. The community college system, the backbone of our workforce development in the state, and of course, the state system itself, more Pell Grant recipients than any other system in the United States of America. It's the partnerships with Sandia Labs, Lawrence Livermore Labs, Lawrence Berkeley Labs. You talk about fusion, you're talking about research and development. 18% of the world's R&D is in the state of California, and I want to just repeat that. Of the world's research and development, 18% in California. The 2 larger jurisdictions, China and Germany, 21%, 20%. California at 18%. Again, by design, not by chance. And so I say that not to brag, not to impress you, but to impress upon you that values matter. And they're part of the economic proposition that I think define not just the best of California, but the best of the work you do in cities and metros, which are the economic engine of the United States of America. And they tend to follow a not dissimilar formula. And so for all of the noise in Washington, D.C., the war not in Iran, but on innovation, the war on science, those things are economic wars. Not just the tariffs, not just the trade policies. And the economic impacts of what's happening in Washington, D.C. create a challenge that I think is distinctive at this moment compared to any moments I shared with you going back 20 plus years when I was a newly elected mayor of San Francisco. And so I feel very strongly about not just preaching, but also trying to practice these principles and these values as well.
Thank you.
That's why he's the governor, right?
Oh, sorry.
See that? All the Californians are so proud. Governor, you may know this, but this organization's #1 priority is housing, building more housing that people can afford. And I would argue, and for those who may not know, this governor has been the most pro-housing governor that we've ever had in the Golden State. I think we're better off. You've framed this often in the sort of dichotomy of builders versus blockers, which I think is on point. You have a group of mayors here who are working on things that I think you would agree with, streamlining approvals, holding government accountable, et cetera. Given your experience as governor and as mayor, and we have a number of new mayors here in the audience, we had an orientation meeting earlier this morning, what would you tell some of these folks about what they ought to be doing as mayors on this housing issue? And in your mind, what does an effective city, state, I'll even suggest federal partnership look like as we deal with this housing affordability crisis?
Well, you talk about that California derangement syndrome. The embers of that, the origin story of that is really about a state that was as dumb as it wanted to be, that couldn't get out of its own way. You know, we, as a state, going back decades and decades, we must have skipped 7th grade econ class. You know, econ 101, supply demand. It's not even complicated. You know, demand's off the roof and we're not building enough damn supply. NIMBYism reigned. Not in my backyard. And we were so process focused. We were so accommodating. We became economists. Every year we were accommodating this interest group, that interest group, another interest group just to get through the legislative or the jurisdiction. It was just, we were playing in the margins, small ball. And explains more things in more ways on more days about what's wrong with the state of California. Again, we talk about the state. Future happens here first, where America's coming to traction, not just the good things. You know, this is the dominant issue now all across the United States of America. It's, you know, table stakes for us going back decades and decades. And the mind really began to shift. And I will say, and this is not just because Todd's here and is ascending rightfully to leadership here, But this is a guy who got it and recognized the need to do better as a mayor, former legislator, that was very critical of localism and NIMBYism, that became mayor and then had to hold himself that higher level of accountability. And so our mind really shifted with partners like you and others that gave us cover, and we just radically shifted our mindset as it relates to land use and zoning, and we have a deep, dare I say, abundance mindset. And we have broken through finally, and we're on the other side of some of these regulatory thickets with some of the most progressive and consequential land use reforms in the US. And we were able to get it done through a sort of a muscular mindset. And I think that's, to the extent I can offer any advice, I need it myself, to others, is you better be in the business of building. You better be synonymous as a builder, a liberalism, dare I say for the progressives here, that builds. You got to produce results. This is the issue of our time. And I'm really proud, it's about time, Governor can say this, but we've seen a 59% increase in the number of homes constructed since 2019 and 56% reduction in the time to permitting since 2019. We're finally moving on the other side of it.
So, Governor, you're on stage right now with a registered Democrat and a registered Republican. As you know, this conference is incredibly bipartisan. We're like militant about this, and we also.
So you don't want me to screw it up, huh?
No, no, not at all. We stand for civility. We stand for collegiality. We stand for doing politics the way we think it was done for a couple hundred years. Yes. And I need to give you a copy of the Oklahoma City Declaration before you leave, because that is a document 230 of us have signed this year that talks about these.
I love that.
These principles.
I love
you have made a point of trying to rise above some of the toxicity in politics right now. You famously called Senator Cruz when his family was going through a difficult time. There's other gestures. These seem incredibly rare, however, in our current political environment, above the level of mayor. What is your assessment of this current situation, and also, specifically the hostility towards public officials, and what would you say to people, considering running for office in this environment?
Well, I love that question. And often I question my own complicity in making it more toxic, not less. You go on my social media, I'm not naive about that. I'll punch a bully in the mouth. I'm not screwing around either. I think with all due respect to my party, we got to be a little more ruthless, stop trying to win arguments and start to focus, as they do on the other side, your side, on consolidating power. I admire that, playing a different level. And I was joking with some mayors just a moment ago that I was quite sincere. I wasn't just joking. I was telling the mayors when we were involved in some redistricting battles, Donald Trump made that call, not to Cruz, but to the other elected governor over in Texas, when he called Abbott and said he was entitled, which is a hell of a word, to 5 seats on a mid-decade redistricting. I quite literally put pen to paper and started working on an op-ed. And I was hoping maybe I could get it in the New York Times and get maybe 100 likes. Try to win an argument. Just so unfair. Trump's just doing the wrong thing. And I realized that doesn't work anymore. Our politics has changed. We need to change. But it goes to your question, and I want to get back to that. I was on the receiving end. I went through a recall. And I came out the other side a completely different person. Anyone would, trust me, the humility of that process. There's real grace in being recalled and surviving it and experiencing the weaponization of grievance to a degree that I had never understood it. All politics not being local now, national, the nationalization of that grievance. And came out saying, I got to change. I got to shift my approach. And I started to put a mirror up to the approach on the other side. And not everyone embraces it. I get it. Try to do a little sense of humor, but try to call out this normalization of deviancy. It's not normal what's going on in our politics. That said, you make the right point. We also need, in the spirit of Isaiah, to be repairers of the breach. We have to live together across our differences. As Bill Clinton would say in front of, I think he did in 2000, when I was here as an aspiring mayor, I think he said, divorce is not an option when he talked to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And that's true. We all want to be loved, all need to be loved, all want to be protected, respected, connected. No one wants to be talked down to or passed. And so I think we can do both and so I have a podcast. I had another conservative mega influencer on yesterday. Started with Charlie Kirk, my first guest on the podcast, followed up with Bannon. Watched 2 or 3 Democrats drop out. Didn't even want to go on my podcast because they were offended that I was, quote unquote, platforming the other side. And I tried to make the point you just made. We're going to have to define the terms of our future. I'm married in a big Republican family. I love and revere my father-in-law. He votes with you.
Well, I don't know. I was going to say, by the way, if you want a normal Republican to come on your podcast, I'm available.
I like that. I like that. See how partisan these mayors have become? So, society becomes how we behave. We are our behaviors. So, I have a relationship to my own, own application of this moment. But at the same time, I'm just trying to find those areas where we can find common ground. And I think, look, I'm very much in a resistance mindset. I worry about our republic. I worry about what's going on in this country. I worry, we were saying, Justin, a moment ago, we're supposed to be celebrating the best of the Roman Republic, Greek democracy, co-equal branches of government, popular sovereignty, the rule of law, not the rule of Don. And, we've struggled in California, as Jacob has in his home state, being on the receiving end. First state to see 4,000 National Guard federalized, 700 active duty Marines sent to the second largest city in the United States, Mayor Garcetti's old city. We then saw Greg Bovino and guys in masks with unmarked cars and unmarked uniforms out there trying to intimidate people from walking into the democracy centers. We kicked off a campaign for democracy on redistricting. Those were previews of things to come. We saw on Election Day in California, BORTAC teams in LA, up there at the Dodger Stadium. Before election polls opened, the Apache helicopters and the Border Patrol were out there staged in order to send a message to chill free expression. Department of Justice was sent out as poll monitors. They filed lawsuits the day after the election. We had a president who said the election was rigged. These guys aren't screwing around. So yes, I'm in a resistance mindset. At the same time, we need to be focusing on renewal. Same time, we need to be focused on a positive alternative that can bind us together, a journey we can all go on where everybody sees himself included. I'm not naive about that, but I've also made this point. The democracy question and the issue of the economy, it's the same fight. If we don't democratize the economy, we cannot save our democracy. And that's why I really appreciate the work you and other mayors are doing every day on both fronts.
Thank you, Governor.
Governor, so often, you may remember from your time, the U.S. Conference of Mayors serves as group therapy for mayors, right? We all commiserate about our shared challenges back home, and often it's about how much we have a negative relationship with our state legislature or our state government. But there's a thing that you have done that I would like my colleagues here to know more about, which is our Youth Job Corps program here in California. And for folks that don't know, this is about providing resources to local cities like mine. In San Diego alone, we've converted our internships at the city into paid internships. Over 1,000 San Diego young people getting work experience at the city of San Diego. 19% of them are now working for the city of San Diego in good jobs with retirement and benefits. Can you talk more about why you were inspired to do this? Why is it important to invest in these young people? And what do you see perhaps expanding? Can you see a world where we could expand that nationally?
Oh my God. What I love about this program, it's not AmeriCorps. It's general fund supported. I think we put in, and don't quote me, but I think it's about $70 million, $68 million last year. for 20,000 paid internships. You were the beneficiary of 1,000. Mayor Go and Dyer here, Democrats, Republican administrations, the beneficiaries of that. As an old mayor, those summers, we all started cobble together money, trying to find a few employers to do some paid internships, and we were coming together. But we decided to move forward in this direction in the spirit, dare I say, of Sarge Shriver. That's the Kennedy we all forgot about. The guy probably did more than any president in the 20th century. Started VISTA, legal aid to the poor, fought the war on poverty when we actually saw a reduction in poverty in this country for Johnson. He and his wife started Special Olympics and the Peace Corps. And I got into office in that spirit, and we started a service corps, which is now larger than the Peace Corps in the United States. And the Summer Jobs Corps program was part of that. Another part, by the way, is College Corps. This is one thing I disagree with Biden on a little bit when he was trying to pay off that student loan debt. I think we should have asked for something in return. And for us, our ask is simple. You give us 450 hours of work, we'll pay $10,000 of your college tuition. And what's amazing about this, and Todd, you've seen it, is you talk about a unity agenda. I mean, this is no Democrats, Republicans, rural, urban. I mean, no one gives a damn about any of that stuff. It's shared experiences. And if we're going to be repairers of the breach, I don't think there's anything more important. I think we should have universal service in this country. I think it is probably one of the smartest and most important overdue things we can do. But in the absence of that, until we get there, these programs become profoundly important. Forgive me the long-windedness. Let me just close with one point, though. We got a crisis of men and boys in this country. And as a Democrat, we were slow to this. Because we thought it was, and we get nervous, it's a zero-sum game. If we're talking about men and boys, somehow it's diminishing our advocacy for women and girls. When again, I think it's the same damn fight. Ask any mom of a teenage boy. But the crisis with men is acute, and it's getting worse. 12 times the incarceration rate, 4 times the suicide rate. I've mentioned, I went on, waxed on about UC, CSU. We're 4 or 5 years out where it's 2-to-1 graduation rates with women. You look at dropout rates, you look at deaths of despair. Look at the disparity between men and women. Service is at the core of addressing that issue. We talk about the Boys and Girls Club, it's really the Girls Club. We need men, we need leaders, we need mentors. We need people that are contributing. We need men to, I think, once again, engage, get offline, get out, deal with this crisis of belonging, this deficit of recognition that is only going to get worse and detonate with AI. And I think at the core is the summer programs, core of the work that mayors do every day in this space. And I think it aids and abets so many issues, and that's why I'm very, very passionate about it.
It's a huge accomplishment.
Governor, if you took the oath of office tomorrow as mayor, what would be your first act if you returned? I guess this would be the Jerry Brown career arc.
Oh yeah.
If you were going to return to City Hall, what would be your first priority?
We were talking to a few mayors. I think, look, for Trump, it's been more smash and grab from my perspective than shock and awe. But shock and awe was his approach to his second administration. The sense that he was doing things, getting shit done, forgive that. But this notion of just action, not process paralysis, just movement. And so I think that there's so much to learn about that. People demand results they can see. And so when you ask that question, I didn't focus enough on results that you can see, proof of competence. I focused a lot on policy. I promoted policy. If you're not promoting paychecks and talking about bills, I think you're missing the point. If you're not promoting projects that visually show results, encampments, not overall numbers of reduction in homelessness, but tents that are no longer on the streets, sidewalks that are cleaned. So my mindset would shift, I think, in that direction in a much firmer way than, candidly, that first experience I had as mayor.
Very interesting. Thank you. Governor, thank you for returning to your roots today.
I appreciate it.
Let's thank Governor Newsom.
Good to be back. Thank you, guys. Thank you, U.S. Conference of Mayors and Tom. Thank you.